the magic sits. It's the heartbeat of the now and the then, where the story starts and never ends. Tune in, lean and feel the groove. Every moment, a vibe you can't lose. It's for the culture, by the culture. Fragrantly's got the soul to show you. Breaking it down, lifting it higher. Feel the rhythm, spark the fire. Hear the whispers in the city's hum, echoes of stories where we're from. A beat, a step, a voice so clear, the pulse of us, it's all right here. We got soul, we got flavor. Every moment is a savior. Every experience is an overcomer.
Well, hello. To you. Welcome into another edition of Brayley's Virtual Tour Live. We are live on tour. 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 Glad to have all of you here again. Hello to you. Y'all, in the words of Emily from the Devil Wears Prada, in the words of Emily from the Devil Wears Prada 2, idiots never cease. Child, you know, the culture can move at a glacial pace. You know how much that thrills me. And by the way, is the culture crazy from time to time? No. That was the question. Let's get to it, y'all. Y'all see the thumbnail, y'all saw the thumbnail. You know my voice is damn it. You know why you're here. Let's get to it because higher is waiting, low is available. But either way, we gotta go on tour. Yes, indeed, we do. Shout out to the two people here, one person here now. You see that virtual tour background? Yes, you do. You hear that virtual tour music? Yes, you do. And then there is me, everybody. Hello and welcome into another edition of Brayley's Virtual Tour Live. Hey, Justine Bow, good to see you, gorgeous. I hope all is well. By the way, shout out to Justine Bow. Always good people, and to all of y'all, I love y'all. I value y'all. I embrace y'all. I am seeing the growth. I am seeing the engagement. I am seeing everything. Like I said, the race is not given to the swift nor the strong. It's to those who can endure. You guys know that I'm usually off on Thursdays unless I have something to say or if there's something in the culture that needs to be talked about. This morning, we talked about the Breakfast Club and them broadcasting live on Netflix starting June 1st, which I showcased to y'all how that was a repackaged move that they've already done. So if you missed that live, go back and watch that tour after this one, though, because we got to get into some things. I'm just going to ask y'all this. Have y'all ever had a family member or a friend that's like, oh, it's so good to see you. What the fuck are they doing? It's good to see you. And you just are just looking down at your phone, just hoping something's over. Oh, hopefully you're looking down at your phone, hoping rather that something is going to come up in the middle of you being there. And then you get, oh my, hey, yes, the venue. I'm sorry, y'all. I've got to talk about the venue. Yes. Oh, you need me now, right damn now. Okay, I gotta go. Love y'all. I'll see all of y'all. Bye. And it was a best friend who called you. Or it was a family member that called in the restroom because they know that you can't, you won't, and you never will take their shit, and you just need an escape hatch. We all got people like that in life. Don't you at me. Don't you at me. Don't you at me for a damn thing. Exactly. They want something. Exactly right. So I feel like that's K Michelle. And I feel like that's Wendy Osefo, but more K Michelle than Wendy Osefo because we haven't really heard from Wendy. She's been in hiding like a bear. Okay. All right. So let's get to this because when I saw this, I'm like, I know this was not admitted. Because here's the thing. If a grown-ass man were to admit this, oh my God, right? And we know that Neo's in a polyamorous relationship and Nick Cannon's got his thing going on and Future got his thing going on. So, men have done it. But with K. Michelle, let's get into it. Oh, God, like I said, I review Housewives for y'all. Just know that, okay? So here we go from MediaTakeout.com, child. Here we go. K. Michelle allows husband to cheat, but she gives him rules, details. Here we go. No bags for side chicks. Let's get into it. K. Michelle tells Shannon Sharp she lets her husband stray under one strict condition. Mia Takeout has the absolute mind-blowing highlights from K. Michelle's explosive multi-hour sit-down on Shannon Sharp's Club Shay Shay podcast, the unfiltered R&B diva and new with Real Housewives of Atlanta peach holder pulled back the curtain on her marriage, and honey, she left Shan completely speechless with her views on infidelity. While most wives are checking cell phones and hiring private investigators, not every wife is doing that. Some women actually were responsible for the man that they chose, and that man actually gave a damn fucking a shit about the one that he chose, right? So not all men and women are cheating, okay? Not everybody's checking cell phones and hiring private investigators and losing their mind. You make a choice to be in heaven, to be in the heaven you want or the hell you want to be in. Let's stop this shit. K. Michelle casually admits she does not mind if her husband steps out of their marriage to sleep with a side piece. Make no mistake, the Swamp Princess had one ironclad non-negotiable rule. Now, I'm just going to say, Swamp Talk of Louisiana chick be like, who the fuck you talking about? By the way, Swamp Talk of Louisiana chick, I hope you're well. I love you. I value you. I think about you every day. Gorgeous sister. Yes, indeed. One of the best people I've met virtually. Definitely when I get out, I definitely want to make sure that she is taken care of along with some other people that deserve it. Let's continue on. The golden rule, protect the coins or the coins. The words of Tamar Esteem Braxton, which, by the way, K. Michelle talked about. Tamar as well wants to do a versus. It's like, my Lord Jesus. If I'm K. Michelle and Tamar Braxton, let's just capitalize on this. Go on tour together, make boatloads of money. Because we saw what happened with Brandy and Monica. They went on tour, and both of them elevate to higher levels than we could all think because Brandy and Monica are legends. Okay? They will have chapters, right? While other people will be mentioning chapters. Let's continue on. K. Michelle made it clear to Shay that while her husband can share his body, he better not be sharing her lifestyle or their bank accounts. No bills paid. Her number one rule is that her husband is absolutely forbidden from paying side chick bills or financial obligations. Number two, no luxury gifts. She explicitly stated that the mistress is not allowed to receive any extravagant luxury gifts, no bags, cars, none of that. She warned, making it clear that high fashion perks are reserved exclusively for the legal wife. Now, here is the twist, okay? What's the twist? The ultimate plot twist. She watches. So K. Michelle's a voyeur, huh? Okay. Just when Shan thought the conversation couldn't get any more wild, like a wild card at a Uno game or something like this, which, child, this is cursed. I mean, this just popped up at the right time. By the way, you can go see that at the Toledo Museum of Art, March 21st through July 5th, 2026. Shout out to the Toledo Museum of Art. That just popped up right on time. K. Michelle dropped the secondary bombshell that had the entire studio reeling. She casually added that she isn't just aware of the dynamic. Sometimes she watches her husband and the side chick engage in their interactions. Okay. Let's hear it. Here we go.
Somebody came to you and told your husband did something to them that he didn't do to you, you gonna feel some type of way, huh?
Sexually?
Yeah.
That's not possible.
Oh.
That's not possible. It's been that many years, all type of positions, legs up, choreography, all that. That's not possible. So if you're gonna tell me my husband was out with you and he paid your light bill, then we probably have a problem.
Hold on, you get upset. So if he pay a bill, that's what you gonna get.
Pay a bill.
So you want him to just poke?
Okay. What do you mean? What do you mean? If men gonna be men and they need the feeling doesn't include paying bills. If that's your feeling, then you're not my man. You shouldn't be paying nobody's bills, buying them no little ass purses. I don't care about purses myself. Most likely they're singing my songs in the mirror and they're telling their friends that they was humping on my husband as they sing the songs. The last thing that you was going to do is sit up here and pay a fan bill, because I already do it. I already paid a fan bill. I've been doing it for over 6 years. I get up every week and pick a fan bill to pay. And I don't have to publicize it or nothing. We already paying fan bills. So you finna go sleep with a fan and then give them something? Oh no.
I ain't know these type of, I hear about it, but I ain't really never talked to somebody that's like, okay,
your ass up. You on IG?
You're not watching though, right?
Come on,
I would, if that was offered to me. Sometimes I do like.
You hold on, time out. Let me get a 20-second time out. I don't need the full minute time. I need a 20-second time out to regroup right quick. You mean to tell me you could watch your man?
I have several times.
Beat somebody back? You get up on that?
Maybe it's weird, but I kind of like it. Like, it's these things with me.
okay. I'm interested.
No, I'm not. It's not like me being, oh, she's super freaky. No.
You super freaky?
He said, no, it's not. He always says with me, it's never about the things that people would think.
Let's continue on. Whether it's a control tactic, an unconventional marital arrangement, or just K. Michelle being the most transparent woman in reality television history. Most transparent woman in reality television history. The most transparent woman in reality television history. Okay. She proved that her household operates under a completely different set of rules. The internet reacts as expected. Clips from the Club Shay Shay episode are spread like wildfire across TikTok and Twitter. Fans are completely split down the middle. Half the internet is praising her for setting realistic financial boundaries. In a messy industry, while the other half is utterly bewildered, I'm flabbergasted. Okay. By her willingness to watch the extracurricular activities. One thing is for sure, K. Michelle knows exactly how to keep her name trending. Is K. Michelle's no luxury gifts for side chick policy a genius way to protect her assets, or has she completely lost her mind? Let us know in the comments. Okay, so a couple of things. Do y'all remember this season, right? When I believe K. Michelle was on a plane. I think it was the girls' trip, right? And they were all talking about, husbands being on social media stuff. And she said, well, I'm glad my husband isn't on social media, but sometimes I want him on social media just so I can see something. Y'all remember that? That comment came to my brain before I got on tour with all of you, because I'm like, wait a minute. With this, it goes against what you said. Then she was on Queen's Court on Bravo. Y'all remember Queen's Court? We reviewed that show. And K. Michelle was on that. And she was trying to find a husband. Now, we learn that K. Michelle and her husband have been, lifelong friends, since the 9th grade, all that stuff, and they've been off and on and stuff. I'm gonna just say this right now. I feel like maybe K Michelle should leave after this season. I'm gonna tell you why. Because K Michelle actually has a legitimate career. Okay. Number two, the more that she is out here, the more her social capital is diminishing, right? And number three, and far be it from me to give an opinion, but since we're here, if he is allowed to cheat, right, and you're allowed to cheat, when y'all have sex with each other, 1 + 1 = 2. Do you not know that y'all could be spreading STDs to each other? Like, I know that's really gross to think about, but we just gotta go there for this. Okay, hey Linnell, still good to see you, my friend. We just gotta go there with this. So you allow your husband to cheat, which obviously means you cheat as well. And also, too, let's not forget, she loves sleeping with a chocolate woman. Nothing wrong with that. Chocolate women are beautiful. And K Michelle said that she only sleeps with chocolate women when it's a holiday. And so there are fans at her concerts that say, you know, it's a holiday coming up, right? So I'm just like, so are you married just for surface sake? For the commitment of the show? Like, is this another Kenya Moore and Walter situation? Hey, listen, every woman and man is different. I just know, just like this Megan Thee Stallion Klay Thompson situation when everybody was saying, oh, they're dragging Clay and this, that, and third. It's like, bruh, if a woman came to a man and said, and I quote, I don't know if I can be monogamous with you, do you not think that man's going to feel away or no? I'm going to ask that question 2 more times. If a woman came to a man, her man, and said, I don't know if I can be monogamous with you after 1 full year dating, after, you know, introducing you to the family, this, that, and the third, do you feel like that man's going to feel away? Yes or no? One more time. Do you feel that if a woman went to a man and said, I don't know if I can be monogamous with you, we're talking about principle, you don't think that man's not going to feel away? K Michelle, I just can we please get to the fucking reunion so this show can be over? God, Jesus, be a fence. You know what I need right now? I need a 20-piece hot barbecue order wings from Buffalo Wild Wings. I need 2 burgers from Buffalo Wild Wings. And I need a BBW that tastes like peach cobbler with strawberries in it. Ask dessert. That's what I need right now. Because why are we doing this? Just to exist on television. I don't get it. Like I said in my description box, if I had their money and their resources, go to work, come home, be where you need to be, don't be where you don't need to be, and get your bags. Do you see why now I said the example at the beginning of you just are hoping for a phone call from somebody, get you out of seeing that family member or that friend that you know you can't stand? This is that situation. Like, what? And not to mention on top of that, and I can't believe you making me defend Portia Williams. I can't believe this heifer K Michelle is making me defend Portia Williams. That was a random ass comment. Not you, Linnell, so move on. with Portia Williams, you called her a bimbo. Child, looks like you were self-projecting. Because, yeah, I gotta bring it up. I gotta bring it up. Because this is the inside of your mind right now.
It's not just feeding the hungry only on Thanksgiving. It's an everyday. It's not just feeding the hungry only. It's not just feeding the hungry only on Thanksgiving. It's an everyday situation. You know what I mean? This is 265 days a year. It's not just feeding the hungry only on Thanksgiving. It's a.
What the? Sorry, y'all, for StreamYard being weird.
It's not just feeding the hungry only on Thanksgiving. It's an everyday situation. You know what I mean? This is 265 days a year.
That is funny. 265 days. Where the hell that bitch live at?
It's not just feeding the hungry only on Thanksgiving. It's an everyday situation. You know what I mean? This is 265 days a year.
That is funny. 265 days. Where the hell that bitch live at?
That bitch lives in Atlanta, Nikki. I cannot. And apparently the reunion chart is out. Thank you, God, we're getting to the reunion, because Jesus Christ. Okay. So with all that being said, shall we get to Wendy Osefo? Because I can't do too much more K. Michelle, y'all. The words of Emily from the Devil Wears Prada 2, idiots never cease. Let's continue on, y'all. So shout out to WeGo Podcast, right? She has been on the ground. I believe one other woman has also been reporting as well. But we have learned the trial dates for the insurance fraud trial. So this is going to be set next year in 2027. Shout out to the Baltimore Banner. Real Housewives of Potomac Stars insurance fraud trial set for 2027. So the insurance fraud trial of Real Housewives of Potomac star Wendy Osefo and husband Edward A. Osefo has been scheduled January 25th through the 29th. So 25th, 26th, 27th, 28th, 29th. So 5 days, right? The couple appeared with their lawyers in Carroll County Circuit Court on Wednesday afternoon for a status conference that set the 2027 dates for the joint trial. It lasted just minutes. The Carroll County grand jury indicted the Osefos in October, charged the couple with 7 counts. 7 counts of insurance fraud, 8 counts of conspiracy to commit insurance fraud, and 1 count of making a false statement to a police officer. The charges stem from a report burglary of the Osefos' home in Finksburg on April 7th, 2024. The couple told a sheriff's deputy the thieves stole $450,000 worth of designer handbags and jewelry while they were on vacation in Jamaica. The couple later submitted claims to 3 separate insurance companies. Deputies later determined that the items were returned to stores for refunds before the alleged burglary. The prosecutor wrote in court records. The Osefos were arrested on October 9th, 2025, and released after posting $50,000 bonds. It was scary. Wendy Osefo said on an episode of Bravo's Real Housewives of Potomac about her night in jail, you completely lose your autonomy. Prosecutors previously painted a picture of a couple in financial straits. In December, prosecutor Melissa Hawkinsmith told a Carroll County Circuit Court judge that the Osefos have very little money. Investigators Hawkinsmith said found 67 credit and debit cards inside 4 different luxury wallets, including a Chanel wallet that was previously reported stolen. Jeremy Elrich, Wendy Osefos' attorney, pushed back on the prosecution's findings at the time, saying there was no evidence that the Osefos are in financial distress. Judge Richard R. Tyus later ruled in the state's favor, allowing subpoenas for 8 years in the couple's personal and business financial records. Now, of course, you remember that there was Pam Oliver and Edward Hennessy, right? So but those were names for, buying stuff off of Amazon and stuff, right? Let's see here. A Bravo crew of roughly a dozen were on hand Wednesday to capture the couple's arrival and departure from the courthouse via a black Cadillac Escalade. Wendy Osefo wearing a yellow pantsuit and Christian Louboutin heels, and Osefo wearing a suit and a Burberry tie, confirmed to Judge Maria Richer that they still reside in Carroll County. After the meeting, Joe Murpha, an attorney for Eddie Osefo, declined to comment on the case. Wendy Osefo, a former Johns Hopkins assistant professor known as Dr. Wendy to Bravo viewers, joined the popular reality television shows Cast in Season 5, which aired in 2020, and has been a regular cast member since the 10th and latest season concluded in March. Osefo says she was absolutely terrified of the fraud charges on a Real Housewives of Potomac reunion episode that aired earlier this year. Banner reports Ellie Wolfe and Justin Finchen contributed to the story. So, of course, we know that they are going to be following this trial, and I am sure, like I said, YouTube will be court TV, so we'll be here covering it. I remember when I did the Diddy trial, and this was on top of all the other shows I was doing, right? So I did a daily show, right, every day at 6 o'clock. So I would take NBC News because they had the greatest summary of everything, and then I added some dynamic video, gave you my commentary, and then that was it, because it was just a recap show. And then the verdict, I'll never forget, I was up from 10 a.m. on that Friday until 7 p.m. that same Friday to deliver the verdict. We were on for a very long time. So, with that being said, would you guys like to see something here? So, weigo Podcast dropped a video 49 minutes ago. Eddie and Wendy Osefo update. I spoke to one of their attorneys. So, let's watch this right now. Shout out to weigo Podcast. She has been on the ground, and of course, one other woman, I can't remember her name, but like, comment, share, subscribe to her. And I can't remember the other woman's name. Maybe she might mention it here, but here we go. This just came out under an hour ago. So here we go.
Hey y'all, happy Thursday evening. Welcome to another What Else Is Going On, aka weigo Podcast YouTube video. I'm your girl, your host, Saria. I'm checking in on you. How y'all doing? What y'all got going on? It is Friday evening. I hope that y'all are doing well. And if you're not, I hope that you are on your way to getting well and feeling well. So for those of you that missed, I went live with Kempire last night, as we always do after one of Wendy and Eddie Osefo status hearings. And there I talked about, what went on in court and the conversation that I got to have with her attorney. So I just wanted to do a video real quick just to recap that. So for those of you who watched the Kempire, I was going to say you can skip this, but let it play for like 2 minutes so I can get the play and then hit like. And actually we can have conversations in the comments, because I wasn't really able to, if you did watch Kempire's live last night and you had any questions or even just comments, I was so focused on doing the live that I didn't really get to see a lot of the comments. I caught some here and there, but I wasn't able to. But I wanted to go ahead and do this video. Y'all was so tired after court yesterday. I said, Wendy and Eddie have to go home and literally take a nap unless anxiety keeps them up. I cannot imagine what it's like.
Hey everybody, Walton Goggins here. Starting a business is never easy, but with GoDaddy Arrow, that
to be on trial for something that has serious consequences. Sometimes you may do something and you're like, oh, what's going to happen if I do this or do that or make this decision? But when you are being charged with something of this magnitude and the weight, in October, it'll be a year.
Wow, that's crazy work.
Mind you, they've been being investigated since 2024.
So
this is crazy. All right, so y'all,
2025, 2026. So they've been investigated for 3 years. And weigo Podcast is absolutely right. When you think about your daily life decisions, right, you hope to God that you have your faculties together. You hope that your brain has developed after the age of 26. And you hope you have the attention span to do more than just a live stream. Now, some people have said out loud that they don't have the attention span to handle a live stream, but hopefully they'll have the attention span to do other things in life. But then again, some people were born with intelligence and others were born with being stupid. But that's neither here nor there. When this broke, it gave me the energy of the Kenya Moore confessions, right? For those of you who do not remember that time, I believe that was Sweet 16, season 16. And we all know what happened with Kim Moore. That was across the street. And she tried to do revenge beat on Britt Edie and that whole saga. And I was one of the content creators. I think I was the only content creator actually like keeping up with the Kenya Moore thing. And I just was looking on Facebook, which, you know, Facebook still matters everybody. So I was looking on Facebook, right? And I saw this flyer. I'm just like, oh, okay, well, apparently something's going on with Kenya Moore, right? So I just took a screenshot, made sure to keep it, all that stuff. And then I saw that she took it down. I'm like, oh, thank God, saved that screenshot, right? And so then it came to YouTube, and child, she was trying to upload the video. It took her a long time. There were over like 300 people here. And I read everybody's comment. I mean, every single damn comment. And we were just weighing. And, you know, Team Troy's Kenya Moore's fan base, right? So, with that being said, they were waiting for Kenya Moore's confessionals. Now, remember, before that, she was at her hair spa. And she was waiting for 100,000 people to come on her Instagram live for her to be able to say something. That did not happen. So then we get to the Kenya Moore confessionals video. Y'all, was 1 minute and 30 seconds. I have never seen a fan base that pissed so quickly. And it was interesting to watch this microcosm of people who really was here to see their favorite, and they didn't move in favorite behavior. And so I say that situation to relate to Wendy and Eddie of they were fan favorites. Now, at first they were not fan favorites, right? A lot of people didn't like Dr. Wendy, and she was uppity and bougie and this, that, and the third. And one of the most iconic moments is what you have to do is slither. That still cracks me up. But the thing that is really interesting about the world we live in today is not so much the attention span of us, but is how tightly we get choked as a culture. Because reality TV is supposed to be an escape. And when you get the real in reality TV, that's where it gets dicey, right? So very, very interesting. So far, we're going to watch the whole video here. Like I said, I didn't even know Pyre went live. I saw Kim Pyre go live about other things, but I didn't know that weigo podcast and Kim Pyre went live about this. Let's continue on.
I got to court early, right? And I just want to say this. Thank y'all so much for your support, your engagement, even just engaging with me, whether it's on Instagram, whether it's on threads, whether it's on Twitter. Y'all engaging with me is supporting me. Even if we disagree, have a difference of opinions, I appreciate y'all doing that. I've been on Instagram for I don't know how long. And yeah, I don't post over there all the time like I should. I still haven't broke 10,000, which is crazy to me. I need y'all to get over there and follow me on Instagram if you are not. But anyway, I appreciate the Cash Apps. When I tell you the Cash Apps, the Zelle, Venmo, the Super Chats, I appreciate y'all. Y'all, I always forget I live in Maryland. For those of y'all that live in Maryland watching this, you could probably attest to this. Sometimes you forget just how far things are in Maryland. Like there are certain places in Maryland. I live in Baltimore County. I could literally get to DC before I get to certain places. And so y'all know I do rideshare. I stopped driving early yesterday to get to the courthouse on time.
Now,
be there early
you have
because I
to
wanted
remember too, like she said, she does rideshare, she does this, she's got the businesses. And gas is not cheap. Have you seen gas nowadays? But that's because the rest of the country voted for a dumbass president. And because of that dumbass president, we have a dumbass administration because we have supporters that allowed the space for this to enter the United States. Now we have a fungus until 2028. That's a separate issue, neither here nor there, but it's important. So for WeGo Podcast, she definitely deserves the Cash Apps, the Zells, and the memos, and all that stuff, and the PayPals and everything in between. And I will just say this, right? If you are a content creator, right? I think a lot of times in the world of content creation, I think some content creators are not honest with themselves, right? Because I think to myself, like, damn, I should be at 5,000 subscribers. I should be getting super chats, super stickers, super thanks. I should be getting, Cash Apps and everything else. That's natural, especially when you're putting in work. The problem is when you say, oh, why is WeGo Podcast? Why is Kempire? Why is this and the third? Hold on a second. Maybe, just maybe, it's not your time yet. Maybe you and them do two completely different works, but also too, if you want to view Paradise, just simply look around and view it. Right now, we're at 3,452 subscribers and over 1 million views off of being original, off of having a independent mindset and being about the business, right? I think sometimes the reasons why people don't ever get to their rise is because they're more about being in their demise of where they're not. Just keeping it a buck. My mom has always said, no one's better than you, and you are no better than anybody else, right? It takes many people to make the world go around. And when it comes to content creation, I will say this is probably the hardest thing I've done in my media career. And I only say that because I've done radio, I've done TV. But with radio, you can go commercial break. You can go audio break. We'll be back right after this. Close the mic, all that stuff. With TV, you can put up a visual break. With content creation, when you make a mistake, everybody sees it. Even if you take it down. You know what I mean? So the fact that you, I, or any of us who are actually content creators, because there are some people that are just one-trick ponies and they ain't got nothing else going on in real life, so they're all washed up in virtually, right? If that ain't you, don't pick up that bullet. Okay? All right, moving on. But with that being said, I feel like if we could just recognize that supporting somebody doesn't just have to be money. Like this right now is supporting. Me streaming her video is actually showcasing support, because the more that people know about her and the more that her social capital rises, my social capital rises. And when you quit looking at everybody else as a problem and start looking at everybody as a solution, you'll be a lot farther. And it's sad that a 31-year-old has more common sense than 50 and 60-year-olds talking about Carissa Shields, Krishan Rock, and Remy Ma. You can't talk about nothing else. But you know what's interesting? If you see anybody starting to talk about anything else, just know that they're dried up in what they're talking about. Because somebody said, I gotta wait for something to die down. No, if you're a real content creator, you ain't gotta wait for nothing to die down to rise in order to talk. Maybe you have nothing valuable to say because you don't see yourself as valuable. Oh! Let's continue on.
To park right in front of the building. Y'all be forgetting how long that drive is. There's a place called Owings Mills. For those of y'all that live in Maryland, you probably know it's like almost towards it's like on 695. You have to take that exit to get to Carroll County. You still got another 22 minutes. And Owings Mills is like 40 minutes from my house. It was like at one point I said, this seemed like they moved the courthouse because I'm still driving. But anyway, I thank y'all for y'all support, whether it's for lunch, for coffee, for gas, for anything. I don't take it for granted. Listen, in today's economy, whether you got it, even if you got it to spare or you don't and say, well, I'm going to shoot her a little over here. I appreciate it because you could be doing so many other things with your money. I mean, Starbucks is like $10. Well, maybe not. I don't drink Starbucks, but it's a lot of money. Listen, even Dunkin' is raising their prices. So I appreciate y'all. So I'm driving there. I get there super early. I got my heels in my bag. You know, I'm going to put on my earrings, my little lip gloss, just a little bit of MAC lip gloss. You know, just do whatever. So I'm sitting there, y'all. I got there at like 12.
I love GoodRx because it has saved my dog's life. He's on 21 pills a day. In addition to saving on that one medication, I'm saving hundreds on the other medications. I don't know what I would do without GoodRx.
20. First of all, can we just pause for a second? That a dog has to take 21 prescriptions per day. Do you not know that there are human beings that take that many prescriptions just to live? That is crazy. That is crazy. That is crazy work. Let's continue on.
20, right? Because y'all, I felt like I had bubble guts, and it's not even me on trial. Do any of y'all get that like secondhand for somebody? It's not even me. And I was like so nervous for them, like what's going to happen today, what's going on. So I can't imagine how they felt. So I went to the Wendy's to use the bathroom down the street, and then I went back. Well, I went there first, and I came to the courthouse, got my park. Your girl is from Jersey and had to parallel park
French fry
on her driving test.
Don't
Y'all,
knock
and I
it
whipped
till
that.
you try it.
I can parallel park. Every once in a while I do it just to keep in practice. Anyway, so I parallel park, pay for the parking meter. I do 3 hours, $1.95. Okay, 3 hours. And I'm looking and I see a guy with like, it looked to me like a long lens camera. It was a camera and then it had the long thing on it, right? So I see a guy and then I see another guy standing next to him. So I look at them, they look at me as I'm in my car, and I'm like, so I text my girls, my sisters in arms, Chantel, Purple Panda Pants, and Paging Dr. Pam.
Paging Dr.
Because
Pam.
we've been there. Me and Dr. Pam met at the very first one. I think Chantel came to either.
Shout out to Paging Dr. Pam. That's who it was. And then Purple Panda, never heard of that content creator, but shout out to Purple Panda as well.
The second or the third one. So we've been there together. Make sure you go check out their pages. Paging Dr. Pam on TikTok. She is so funny. She's a therapist. She's been on the channel. Love her down. She got a really funny video. It was funny. So check out her page. And then Chantel, Purple Panda Pants.
Purple Panda Pants.
She covered Karen's trial as well. So make sure y'all check their pages out. So
shout out to both.
I text them and I was like, y'all, why are cameras here? And I took a picture of the camera, got not their faces, just the guy, and sent it to them. And so Dr. Pam said, go talk to them. I said, I have on heels. And I said it because I don't think people would probably know this since I'm like sitting in front of a camera and want to do this. And if people go by the astrological signs, Aries, they say they're outgoing, they're fiery, they're this. I have a side to me that is very
introvert,
can be shy and nervous, especially when I feel like I'm in an arena where people can judge me for not being a part of a bigger company. You know what I mean? Like a Baltimore Sun, like the Banner, any of that. And I know that's just something that I'm working through to not be insecure about. That's so I feel like they may think I'm walking up to them like, who are you to be talking to us? We have some letters behind our name, but I realizing that I like what I do. I feel like I'm pretty good at it, and I'm just going to keep doing it. But anyway, so that was part of the reason why I was nervous to get out and talk to them, right? Time is ticking. I'm waiting for Chantel. I'm waiting for Dr. Pam. I'm taking y'all through it all. I want y'all to be there with me, right? So I'm like peeking out the window. All of a sudden, I see a guy and then another guy, and the one guy has an actual camera, like a video camera, the big one. So that's when I posted, like, there's camera people out here. Did Wendy call them? Right? I'm joking, but I'm serious. I'm thinking, child, Wendy called the press. She wild for that. This is what I'm thinking, right? Or her people called the press. So then I was like, remember that episode of Martin? He was like, be a man, be a man. So I was like, be a woman. Right? Get out, you get out and talk to them. So I got out and I went to talk to the guy from the Baltimore Banner because I remembered him from before. So I'm like, hi, are you here for the Wendy trial? He was like, yeah, you were here before, right? You have like a podcast or YouTube. And I told him my name. I got his name again. We shook hands. And then another guy, I think from the Sun, came up, which was the guy that I saw earlier. And we're all talking about it, right? Mind you, the road that you have to turn down to go to the courtroom, you make a left, the courtroom is on the left. If you come in that way, the way I came in, courtroom's on the left, and you can park right in front if you get there in time. And when I say across the street, it's not far. Y'all probably saw from the videos that were being posted. It's not a, it's a hop, skip, and a jump from. So I'm standing in front of the courtroom, my back to the courtroom,
right,
facing the street. Didn't realize that it was the Bravo cameras, the guy sitting right next to me, right? He's sitting on the step. Didn't realize it. So I'm talking to the two gentlemen next to me.
Wow.
From the Baltimore Sun and the Baltimore Banner. We're talking. Chantel gets there. So there's a woman, shout out to Donna. Donna has a dog named Griffin, service animal, and she has been coming to the hearing. She lives in Carroll County. So shout out to Donna. Donna comes with her dog. I am afraid of dogs. Maybe I need Caesar. I don't know, but I just, whew. So
I'd be a childhood.
See the dog. I'm like, hey, I still say, hey, to the dog, whatever. She comes up. So we're all standing on the sidewalk. All of a sudden, like I said, Chantel comes, shout out to Chantel and her wife, Nikki. They come and we see a black SUV. So remember before I told y'all there was no black SUV back March 4th. There was a black SUV today. I said, All of a sudden, the regular camera and the camera, like they start to get up. The SUV goes around the corner and sits there for a minute, right? So I seen the guy, I think, texting on his phone or what have you, who now I know is from Bravo. And I was like, I didn't think anything of it, just like, All of a sudden,
Now I want to pause it.
The van,
for a minute.
The SUV truck pulls back around.
Now I want to pause it here for a minute. Can you imagine you're at the forefront of a storyline in the world of reality TV right now? I got to do that virtually, right? But imagine being there in person. Now, I will say this. I think WeGo Podcast is doing an excellent job at this. I think that, I've always said this to y'all. Each platform requires a different entry. See, this is why I actually do YouTube, because I actually have a genuine gift in being able to take the media industry and the minutia of it and simplify it through conversation, comedy, and heart. That's what I do, right? And so I understand how she felt, because if that's a person from Bravo, they're at work. So if you ask them like, hey, can you tell me, what's coming up for the season? Those camera people, they're under an ND motherfucking A. So they can't say anything, right? They can't say a word. And of course, that is a connect, but you also have to remember that if WeGo Podcast makes that connect, it's only going to be based on what can be the value of that connection. Now, some of you're saying, well, bring us a camera person from Bravo. Of course, that's a connection. You always talk about networking, know how to take an instrument in a mile, and da, da, da. Very true. Very good. Very good. Very good class. But you probably can only use that contact for the basis of what's going on with this for now with that content. So, hey, I'm going to be at the courthouse so-and-so. What time you're going to be there? That's the closest that WeGo could probably use that content. But then as the season is going, right, she could probably call that camera person, get her connects at Bravo, and then go up from there. It's a very real plan that can happen. And guess what? If I'm Bravo, whoever is there, tape their commentary of what they believe and then make that a digital episode on because do you know what that does? That extends the experience for the fans, right? There's nothing like seeing somebody that you know virtually who is putting in the work, who is about their purpose, and who really does have what it takes to be about this thing, not just be a emperor with no clothes. Child, let's roll on
the corner. And then the cameraman gets up, and then the video guy gets up. The video guy's like almost in the road, like with the video, like, look, like this, the camera, y'all, the video camera, like this on his shoulder, right? So I'm like, what's going on?
Yeah,
this is where I said it's so funny, and I'm gonna take it as a sign to me.
By the way, y'all, let me tell you something. I've seen those steady cams on the shoulder. You gotta have some strength for that. And also, do they have like the body cams? You gotta have some weight. You know what I mean? So anytime when you saw the Sherri Shepherd show, and by the way, shout out to Sherri Shepherd, her last show was today. Shout out to her, 4 seasons on TV. That's longer than most people. And congratulations to you, and God bless you on your journey. I think she's doing a K-drama next, and Sherri Shepherd will be fine, child. When one chapter closes, another one begins, right? But I say that because when you see the Sherri Shepherd, when you saw the Sherri Shepherd intro, you saw like the wraparound, that's like the jib cam, and then you saw like the guy with the camera on his chest with the camera on his shoulder. That's like the roving camera. So just wanted to add some context, conjecture, and connection to that. Okay, let's keep going.
And I'm gonna drop this nugget for y'all. So I was standing on the sidewalk with everyone else, right? Because again, there's a part of me that's also feels weird doing it. But I was like, if I was with ABC News or a news station, I wouldn't feel weird. So why are you feeling weird now? Right. So I'm on the sidewalk like this, y'all, right? And then something said, go up the steps to where the courthouse doors are. So I said, I'm gonna go up the steps. I go up the steps thinking I'll have a perfect shot of them coming up the steps this way, but I'm off to the side. So I go up the steps, but like, here's the building. So I go up the steps and go off to the side, thinking they're going to come right up the steps. Why did y'all saw the video I posted, come around the ramp, which gave me the perfect shot of them. And in that moment, I thought to myself, I said, it's so funny. I thought that I should be standing down there with everybody else. And when I went up by myself, I was a little nervous. I don't know why. I was a little nervous to go up there by myself and be videoing. Sometimes you think you are not in the right place, but stay where you are. And it's going to come right to you. Because when I tell you, I felt like they were walking straight towards me, y'all. So I had the perfect shot, but then I also got nervous. Shot, butt cheeks got tight. I'm like, I got this camera and they walking straight towards me.
Right.
I was like, so then I cut the video off before they just walked in the door, right? So they walk in. I didn't stay out anymore. Mind you, again, I didn't realize they were the Bravo cameras. I just thought they were from another outlet or whatever. So they go in. I give them a couple seconds because I didn't want to be right up on them, right? So then I go into the courtroom too. They've already gone through the metal detector. I go through the metal detector and I go to take the steps. And Donna's like, you're not going to take the elevator? I'm like, nah, because I knew if I had hit it right then, it would have opened and they would have been in there. And yeah, maybe no, maybe next time. So then I walk up the steps. As I'm walking up the steps, I hear a door shut. Boom, it's a conference room. So I know automatically they went into the conference room, right?
Frustrated by submitting countless job applications and hearing nothing? First, many
with their attorneys. They've done that before. So I go out into a waiting area, the vestibule. So by this time, Chantel ends up coming up. Pam ends up coming up. And then I find out, I heard Donna say, the woman with the dog, I heard her say something about Bravo. I didn't pay no attention. What she was saying was those cameras were for Bravo. And I was like, oh, I had no clue. Again, I thought it was with an outlet. So we're all sitting around waiting, right? Waiting for court to start. It's supposed to start at 1:00. Normally they pretty much start on time. So we're waiting. The little guy comes out. Now, y'all know we had to make friends with the bailiff last time. Listen, we're going to be here. We don't want no tension. We ain't going to break no rules in your courtroom. I promise you. It's a different guy. He comes out. He says, hey, I just want to let you guys know, no phones in the courtroom. And I said, listen, we know the deal. You ain't going to get no trouble out of us.
So for those of you who do not remember this last time, WeGo podcast, and I believe paging Dr. Pam, not Purple Pants Panda, because I don't believe she was there the first time, but I do remember paging Dr. Pam and WeGo podcast. They had phones, And the judge like scowled and scolded them like, I don't know who had phones in this courtroom, but apparently some footage got out. Now, I ain't saying who did it, but for future reference, don't do that in my courtroom. Of course, I'm exaggerating for comedic effect, ladies and gentlemen, but that's basically what happened. So just to give you some context, conjecture, and connection on that, because one of the, because I believe one of the videos on my YouTube channel, on our YouTube channel, I say it's my YouTube channel because I do the work, but I like to say it's our YouTube channel because you're just as much a part of this as am I. But there was a live stream of Empire and WeGo podcast talking about Wendy, all that stuff. I was watching it live, right? And Empire said he was going to upload it and everything else. I'm just like, right, just go in and just edit and just upload it. So I uploaded it before Empire did. It's still on the channel. You can go watch it, but WeGo podcast gave a lot of detail in that Instagram live. But let's continue on.
We want to follow the rules. We didn't know last time. You will have no trouble out of us. And he was like, I understand. He said, because if the judge tells me if she sees it and tells me to take it, I have to take it. And I don't want to be the bad guy. I said, no, you're just doing your job. Like Diddy said, you better be on your job. No, I said, you just doing your job. I get it. I said, it's going to go right here. And I have my purse. So Dr. Pam comes up. I think, I said Dr. Pam is up there by the time. So we're just kind of all waiting around, right? And then the prosecutor comes up. Very friendly woman. Prosecutor comes up, sees sees Donna's dog. I said, Donna thinks she's slick. Donna, if you watching, she be bringing that dog. She gets the conversation, right? So the prosecutor is says, hi, how are you? Just very nice to Donna and her are talking. And then I say hello, whatever. She goes in, comes back out. So like, what's going on? 1 o'clock, we go into the courtroom. Mm-hmm. So y'all, they have their bail. Now, normally every other time, when it's starting at 1, Wendy and Eddie are inside the courtroom with their attorney every other time. This time, not only are they not in there, their attorneys are not in there. And their attorneys are no longer in the conference room. Dr. Pam had went out for a minute, and the attorneys, the prosecution, and Wendy's attorneys are out there laughing, kikiing it up, talking about grandkids and things. And it's interesting, right? When your job, like, once we go in these doors, ain't nothing personal. I'm gonna do everything I can to beat you. But outside of this, we can talk about our grandkids because we know it's nothing personal. Or if any of y'all are watching that are attorneys, because many, many years ago, before I knew I really wanted to be into broadcasting, there was a part of me that still wonders what would have happened if I had decided to pursue being a defense attorney. But, like I said, I had that thought for about a year or so, like in college, but not really, because I knew deep down that this is what I really wanted to do. And being a lawyer would require a lot at the same time, still wanting to do that, but never really saying that out loud because it seemed like such a big thing. Right. But so, if any of y'all are watching that are in law, is it easy for y'all to do that, to turn it on and to turn it off? My goal in here is to beat you. Then when I come out, we all good. And
let me pause this here because y'all know Sunny Hostin, right? From The View. She was a former federal prosecutor, and now she's like a TV personality. So as detailed as WeGo podcast is, she definitely could do it. It's never too late. As long as you're above the ground to make change on the ground, you can still go after it. But also too, you're I always say it's one thing to call yourself, it's another thing to be chosen. And there's a few times in life where what you've been chosen to do and what you want to call yourself to do collides, right? So I think she found her sweet spot. And not to mention too, like, do you not know, like, during the Diddy trial, how many content creators, got the opportunity to showcase their energy on the trial in media? So I do think the creator economy is expanding to showcase that, hey, guess what? Content creators can be experts at things, right? We talked about the Oscars coming to YouTube. For those of you who don't know, 2028 will be the 100th Oscars on ABC. But after that, 2029, the Oscars will be here on YouTube. The best way that they should do the Oscars is get the fashion content creators to cover the fashion. Get the cinephiles to cover the films. Get the pop culture people like myself to be able to capture the energy of the event, right? Get the people who study Hollywood, the reporters of Hollywood, get those commentators and that, because if you try to do the Oscars based on Mr. Beast and Last Koshy and all these popular people to just make the Oscars, it's going to fall flat on its face. So, shout out to WeGo Podcast, doing an excellent job. Let's continue on. Hey, some people, welcome in. Glad to have you here. We are watching WeGo Podcast. She dropped a new video about under an hour ago. She is speaking about what happened at the courthouse with Wendy and Eddie. We talked about K. Michelle at the top of the show. Spent about 20 minutes because, child, I just had no more energy for it. So let's continue on.
And does that make it hard to, or is it, do you turn on and turn off emotion? Because as a lawyer, you can't be emotional, right? Again, I'm here to defend my client. Even with the client, you can't be, so any of y'all in law, let me know. But so I'm still wondering where they are, because Wendy and Eddie are not out in the vestibule, but their lawyers are. And so me and Pam were talking, and we wondered if they were filming something. Were they in the conference room on their phones filming something? Were they talking to the Bravo cameras? I'm just wondering where they were for them. Because again, like I said, every other time they've been in the courtroom with their attorneys. This time their attorneys were kikiing and talking it up with the prosecution, and they're not out there, they're somewhere else. So I wonder if we'll see, when the season airs, if we'll see footage of them outside of them coming in the courtroom, if we'll see like camera footage or some other type footage, right? If we'll see a confessional from the status conference room. No, I'm just kidding. So I go out then to use the bathroom, and good thing, because by now we're looking at almost 2:00, and it was supposed to start at, multiple cases are heard. Child, we heard bail reviews. Child, prisoners was coming in chains, in cuffs and shackles. Y'all, this one lady came in.
She was about to say in shit.
With her orange jumpsuit on, and it said inmate something on the back. She had her hands behind her back. She was cuffed. Right. And she did not get bail, but they said they were going to try to get her a trial as soon as possible in June. So as she's walking out, her man, he got on his wave cat, said, "I love you, baby." I thought he said her name, but I think I love you, baby. And she walking out, "I love you too." Like all this. I said, this is interesting. But so she walks out. So I get out. And as I'm getting up to go out to use the bathroom or to go out and see what's going on, another inmate walks in. He is shackled on his feet and hands behind the back. Right. So we go out. I use the bathroom. I come out. All of a sudden, it's like you hear heels. Here come Wendy, Eddie, and their attorneys. So we all walking in at the same time into the courtroom. So we sit down. They said it was going to be quick. Y'all paid $1.95 for parking for their status hearing to last about not even 5 minutes. But you just never know, right? So they get up there.
Websites your competitors don't want you to know, part 2.
All you do is go to this website, and it lets you find out exactly.
I think it was Eddie. I'm pretty sure it was Eddie and Wendy's attorney that said they're going to be co-defendants. Now, mind you, Eddie has attorneys and Wendy has attorneys. So the attorney that I talked to, of course, they're all working together, obviously.
Now, for those of you who don't know, they were trying to have Wendy have a separate trial and Eddie to have a separate trial, but they have come to the conclusion that they are going to have a joint trial. And I can bet you the reason why they probably have a joint trial is because, one, y'all both live in the same house. Y'all both committed a crime. And not to mention, two, that would stretch out the scheduling, because we got to schedule Wendy's trial, then schedule Eddie's trial, then schedule the witnesses, schedule the experts, and, just it would have been a mashugana of a catastrophe. So that's probably why they are doing a joint trial. Hey, 6 people, welcome in. Glad to have you here. We are live on tour, a bonus tour. You got 2 bonus tours. One this morning talking about the Breakfast Club, broadcasting live on Netflix on June 1st, which, child, it's not that big of a deal because they were live on remote TV. They were, doing a show on BET at 9 a.m. They were on Tubi. Child, it was a repackaged move. So the Breakfast Club was donkey of the day in my eyes. And then, of course, we talked about K. Michelle at the beginning of the show. And then now we're watching WeGo Podcast. She's recapping what happened at the courtroom. And for those of you who are wondering, would you just play the video? There's a thing called fair use. You have to pause it, give commentary, transform it. This, that, and third. So that's what I'm doing. Glad to have you all here. Let's continue on.
Right. But the one I talked to is always stood beside Wendy. Wendy's attorney's name is Jeremy Eldridge is Wendy's attorney. So they now say they're going to be co-defendants. And we looked at each other like, what? Like, it seems like such a back and forth. Keep that in mind, because we've been talking about this. Remember, like, from what we've all thought, it was separate together. Keep that in mind. So they're going to be co-defendants. And the judge says, it was a different judge this time. It was a female judge. And she says, so the court hearing, their trial is going to be January 24th through the 29th of 2027. And the status hearing, January 13th. When she said January and then she said 24th through the 29th, I honestly, in my mind, processed it as July. Because I said no. And then she said it again. Now, I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to hold you. I'm grateful because I got served. This is funny, y'all. Just a little side note. I got served jury duty, or a summons for jury duty. I've never had one, ever. Thought I had got away. So the date they gave.
Side note, I've never done jury duty either. Like, my sister did jury duty one time. And I do believe that if you get someone for jury duty, you have to do it. Otherwise, you do go to jail, which is kind of crazy. Because you should be able to opt out, but you'll be able to opt out based on if there's conflict of interest and stuff like that. But never had jury duty, as a side note. But yeah, let's continue on.
I was like, it was in April, the week of my birthday. I could have done it. I said, no, I ain't doing that. So I rescheduled. I forgot not to pick a Wednesday, right? Because I know Wendy and Eddie's trials are on Wednesdays, and I need to be available to be the boots on the ground for y'all, okay? So I picked a date in July. I realized it was a Wednesday. I said, oh my gosh, I'm not going to be able to reschedule. If it's on that day, I'm just not going to go. And then the next day I'll go and be like, oh, I forgot. Why? There was one of the cases that came before Wendy and Eddie was a man that didn't report for jury duty, but he did it like 3 or 4 times, but he got off good. He didn't get jail time or anything. And I was like, oh, if all I got to do is write a letter, I'll be fine. So my brain processed it as July. Child, it's January. It will be after a year. Because remember, they got charged in October. When they were charged in October, they were given a trial date of April, because that's speedy trial, 180 days.
The thing with that is like, I'm with WeGo Podcast. May, June, July. That's 3 months. Like, we're kind of ready for it now. Because with Karen Huger, it kind of happened in that similar period. It wasn't until next year, right? Now Karen Huger was supposed to get out next year, but she on good behavior got out early, all that type of stuff. But yeah, January, that's I mean, we're in May now, so January will be here before we know it, but still, let's continue on.
Right. So they decide on that, and then the judge asks if the judge confirms that Eddie waived his right to a speedy trial. Yes. And then asked if Wendy waived her right. And her attorneys were like, no, but basically they got waived by default.
I'm just trying to see.
Because they're now going to be co-defendants. Okay.
Smart founders know something most people miss. Get your domain name even if you're not ready to launch your business. With Wix, you can grab yours now. That
was it. We left. I'm walking out. I think I went out in front of them. So we go out in front of them. I'm not waiting for them. I'm gonna wait for them outside, but not in the courtroom or whatever. So I go downstairs. That's when you saw the tweet about the update. So I go outside and we're waiting, for them to come out. So of course we catch them coming out or what have you. So as we're waiting, Chantel decides to go live. Chantel, and shout out to Reality with V, love V. They go live. So now they're kind of like in the road.
Shout out to Reality.
Chantel has her phone up and she's going live. I'm facing her, waiting for her to be done. And I hear her say on her live, there's the attorney or Wendy's attorney, or either she said there's their attorney, there's Wendy's attorney. And I said, yo, I turn around so fast and in my heels, when I tell you I hit the pavement, click, 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 click. And I said, excuse me. I got my phone in my hand like this and my mic. And I'm like, excuse me. I get on the sidewalk and realize, either he's not hearing me or he's not saying anything. He's talking to the guy from the Baltimore Banner, I believe. So I didn't want to walk up and intrude, because I feel like if you see somebody talking to somebody, so I was a couple feet back. Like there was about that much space between us. And I'm waiting.
Wow.
I was already nervous, right? But you never let it stop you from doing what
that part, clap that T,
you need to get done.
Clap that T.
So he turned around and he says, did you need something? I don't know if I felt like it was because it was a man or if it was like the tone to me. Did you need something? I said, I ain't nervous no more. But I really was. I said, yes, I would like to ask you a couple questions. I know you can't talk case specifics. So I had my phone, like I had it on the camera ready to record. And he says, are we recording? And I said, I cannot if you'd rather not. He said, I'd rather not. And I said, okay, no problem. Again, it wasn't recording anyway. So I just closed the screen. And he goes, Maryland is a two-party consent state. So I said, okay. And I went to ask him a question. I said, let me go back. Thank you for the reminder. Because look, I was getting ready to record. And then if I had a public, you know what I'm saying? Like, hey, so I'm learning in this process. That's something I would have not thought of. Which is why, some people say they don't, if you're already out here doing something, whether it's this or something else, you don't need schooling. I also see the benefit of being in the classroom, because there's things that you won't know unless you're in the classroom or unless you learn them while you're doing it. And sometimes if you make a mistake, it could be costly, right? So I appreciated him for saying we're two-party.
Did you hear that, Milagro-grams? Did you hear that? Sometimes it's important to learn things. Did you hear that? Did you hear that? Did you hear that, Milagro-grams? It's important to learn shit. Did you hear that, you fucking heifer? Did you hear that shit? You still got the SA lawsuit ongoing, right? That you and Camp Mob Grape 2 Men still got that ongoing, right? You might need to pay attention to know how to take responsibility for the shit you do. Hey, Stream Master, welcome in. Kobe presents Jesus Love. Thank you so much for that. All right, y'all, let's continue on. We are live on tour. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Glad to have all of you here. We're watching a We Go podcast talking about Eddie and Window. We flew through a window. Shout out to Big Hero 6. Eddie and Wendy Osefo update. And We Go podcast spoke to one of their attorneys. Let's get back to it.
State. So the first question I asked him, and at first I felt like he didn't have an attitude or anything, but he's very stern. I like him. There's something about his presence that if I met with him, I feel like I would feel secure for an attorney, right? Because he was very passionate to me when they had that status hearing back in, was it January, I think? Or February, one of those. So I said, this is what I said, y'all. I said, so that there seems to be, when it comes to Wendy and Eddie being tried together, there seems to be a lot of back and forth, them being tried together, them not being tried together. And he was like, well, there's no back and forth. He said, somebody got a hold of some paperwork and made it bigger than what it was. He said, when they came in, they immediately were separate. And again, I'm condensing because he did use a lot of legal terms. Some of them, and I understood them while he was saying them, but to be able to recount them back to you. So I'm giving you the gist of what he said, because I understood it. So now I just have to disseminate the information.
Yep.
So basically, when they came in, they were going to be separate. That was already going to be that. And he said he always does that. I guess when it's a case where it could be co-defendant, they always do that because they don't know what discovery they're going to get. And as they get more into the discovery phase, then they may decide, oh, we're going to try them together, or it makes sense to keep them separate. So I said there was a motion. He said, well, there was no motion filed. But remember, y'all, back in the beginning of all this, when an article came out, said that Wendy was filing to not be a co-defendant, right?
Correct.
There was a motion for them not to be a co-defendant. When that came out, it wasn't any paperwork filed for her to be tried on her own. Because again, when the case initially started, they had already established they were going to be separate. Then they were going to be tried together. And I remember there was a motion filed for them to be tried together because the judge said that there was a motion for them to be tried together. But then I remember I told y'all, we never heard anything more about it. Mm-hmm. And then they proceeded.
Great. The new GoDaddy Arrow has AI marketing tools to help small businesses easily reach thousands of customers. It writes sweet social ads and email marketing. It even analyzes the results to boost business. I better start up in my game with some sweet new moves. Guess who's back in the disco, moving so cool, so slick like Crisco. But you ain't did it like this though.
That is hilarious. Always think of Wacky Inflatable Tube Man from Family Guy. We do remember when those forms were filed to make sure that they were separate, right? And so to hear that somebody got a hold to some forms that made it bigger than what it was, it's not too surprising. I remember when the Diddy trial happened and there was some information leaked out of the courtroom. Judge Arnstein was not happy about it. Now, I will never forget the day because Armand Wiggins was in New York, and he said there has been a huge delay because somebody leaked it and both sides didn't want to say anything. So, yeah, leaking is a crime in court when you are in the midst of a trial. So, and by the way, too, I want to say this too, right, on the big screen. There is a difference between people who are about this shit and they take you through there, as they say, and people who are observers of what's happening. Just Jonda, my good virtual friend who's an attorney, she's an actual factual attorney. You go to her for all the legalese. You go to Pam Esquire. You go to Lee Attorney. You go to other attorneys, Dr. Simone Redwine. Okay? Other attorneys as well. Over here, we cover from a social commentary point of view. And I think that's important because I think some people get a little too far down the rabbit hole when it comes to stuff like this, and then they claim to be expert. No, boo-boo. Or she boo 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 boo. Or now you can't speak English, boo boo kitty. Shout out to trying to be in some plain cookie line. Some people get so far down the rabbit hole that they forget that all they have to do is be authentic, responsible, and have integrity with what's in front of them. That's all you have to do. That's it. I have not gave any legalese at all. I'm just giving you my social commentary based on my history of watching The Real Housewives of Potomac, but also because we cover a lot of other things that really nobody else covers. We have a more fuller world view over here than most YouTube channels or other platforms on social media. Let's continue on.
As though they were separate for the rest of the status hearings. So they were separate initially going in. There was no paperwork filed. It was just decided. Then the judge did bring up that he saw that there was a motion for them to be tried together. So there was basically only one motion filed. It wasn't a back and forth. They were separate. That's how they came in. Then later on down the line, they decided to be tried separately, together. The judge never ruled on that. Remember that the judge never spoke about that motion, and they still had their separate court dates. And then at the last status hearing in March, Eddie waived his right to a speedy trial. Wendy wanted hers faster. So this is new information now that they're going to be co-defendants. They announced it to the judge. They're going to be co-defendants. So he said there was never a back and forth. There was the one motion that was filed. And again, I heard that in the courtroom. So, and he does that when there are cases where people could be co-defendants. They go in separate until they get more discovery. Right. So that was interesting because it did seem like there were a lot of motions being filed, because he said you file, I forget the word he used, but either file or all the cases go in a template pretty much. And then they decide from there later on down the line, again, if they're going to be tried as co-defendants. So they are going to be tried as co-defendants. So I asked him, well, is this new to you? Trying a husband and wife together, is this something that you've done before? He said, no, it's not new. He said, yeah, I have. He said, he's done this. He's done families. There could be a grandmom, a grandfather, like grandmom, grandfather, cousin. Like he's done where families have been charged together.
Tangled.
So this is not new
entanglement
to him because he's done that. So I said, you, from what I've seen, you're a high profile attorney. This is what I said, right? So you high people see you as a high profile attorney. And he said, well, I'm glad that you think that. Thank you. But I don't see it that way. So Dr. Pam, by this time, Dr. Pam had walked up. She was like I felt like she was such a support. Like while I'm asking him all these questions, she was like there, and I felt like her strength, right? When I started to get nervous again, I'm like, because I didn't have any of these questions written down, y'all. They were just
treat a friend
off the top of my head. When I saw that I had access to him, I was like, think, what do you want to know? So when I said that I heard and felt like he was a high profile attorney, and he said, thank you, I'm glad you feel that way. I don't. Dr. Pam said, well, I actually spoke with someone who spoke very highly of you. You handled their case. And he said, oh, I hope I did a good job. And Dr. Pam said you were able to get their case dismissed. And from what I understand, it was a pretty grim. Now, from what I understand, it was a grim case, and yet he was able to get it dismissed.
Folks, I've seen a thing or two.
That's
but these prescription prices?
So there's something. So I said, are you used to so many eyes being on this particular case? I said, yes, you've done high profile, but this is TV,
right?
You know, from the media to just everywhere. And he said he's definitely used to it. That's nothing new to him. And he actually advocates for it. He said he loves the fact that courts are open, and he thinks that outside of if it's like gruesome or a victim is involved, he thinks that cameras should be allowed in the courtroom. He said the public should have access to all the information, not just what one side is putting out. So not just
fairness and transparency,
whether it's the prosecution or whomever, the public should have access to all the information, because that's fair to the client. Because a narrative could be put out about the client, and that's all the public sees. They don't get to see all of the information. So he feels like there should be cameras on all cases, and he encourages people to come sit in these trials. So he thinks it's a good thing. So I was like, well, that's good to know. You know, for me being considering myself being part of the media, that's good to know that he feels that way. Then I brought up, so I told him, I said, okay, this is, and like I said, the conversation went on a little longer, just he was giving different examples and stuff like that. But then I said to him, I said, I loved how, I believe it was their first or second status hearing. I said, you addressed us, you addressed the media. I said, because the prosecutor was throwing out statements like, and I said this to him, I said, like, the Yosefos have very little money. They brought up the cost of her bag. I said, and I like how you turned around and addressed the media and you called them out for throwing out statements. Is that something that you typically do? And he said, yes, because he believes that they should have a voice. He said, it's not fair for the prosecution to get a snapshot of somebody's life and that become the narrative of who those people are, or that's their life, and they don't have a voice. So he always speaks up, and he said, y'all, again, if you were on Kim Powers Live, you saw this, but if not, then remember, it's me and then Dr. Pam standing next to me and then himself in front of me, right?
Right.
So he says, and basically it's all relative. He said, we can look at the prosecution. We can look at the prosecutor and see that she's probably not really into fashion. He said, you're dressed very well. You're dressed very well. I'm dressed very well. So we're going to see it differently than her. So she is going to throw out a statement. My most expensive purse, is $300 versus Wendy. She's not into that. So her.
Let me pause it there, because that reminds me of the Diddy trial, where it was a particular part of the trial where I think the defense asked about a Gucci bag or something like that. And I will say this, right? I do think that while perspective is important, it's not everything. While perspective is important, it's not everything. While perspective is important, that's not everything, right? Because I do think that with a trial that is about rather 67 credit cards and debit cards, right? And you're talking about wealth, being able to showcase the wealth gap, right? And what needs to matter, what doesn't need to matter, that can help in a line of questioning from my outsider point of view, right? So let's continue on.
Her spin on it can be a negative, right? Because that's not what she's about. And then he said, in the case of he said she threw out the 67 credit cards. He said, and I can't remember if he said his father was either in the service or something. Either way, he said he has a box. He said, I have a box full of old credit cards, expired credit cards. He said, if somebody saw it, they would think I was a fraudster, but they're just expired. So he wanted to make sure that was cleared up especially with the media being there, because they're going to take these statements and run. That's what I'm saying. They're going to take these statements and run. He said, so he wanted to clear that up. And I said, just like with the Pam Oliver and Eddie Hennessy. And he said, yeah. So he wanted to make sure that was cleared up, that again, they had a voice and the public just wasn't getting one side based on a snapshot. He said, because we all basically, when it comes to these things, we're all viewing them from our beliefs and what we're into and our own. Like I say, when we do these YouTube videos, sometimes or when we do commentary, you're coming from a place of where you are. So maybe you've experienced it. So you could be projecting or maybe just giving more insight. So he said, basically, we're all coming from a place of where you are. So again, the prosecution is not really into fashion. So to her, my most expensive purse is $300. This is $10,000. And he said, a person can take a statement and pretty much make it seem salacious, whereas another person could take that same statement and just leave the statement as is. And you're like, oh, that's all it is? And I was like, that's a good point. It made me think of when that article came out about them having the 67 credit cards. And then it said they had aliases, Pam Oliver and Eddie Hennessy. Never once did that article say that they used aliases on those credit cards. But immediately I saw articles, I saw posts insinuating that they used aliases with these credit cards. And I remember, and I came down and told y'all that that's not what that article said. So like he said, they took the statement was true. Right. They used Pam Oliver and Eddie Hennessy and they had 67 credit cards. But that's when he got into in the court. Some were expired, right? And they used Pam Oliver and Eddie Hennessy to get packages delivered. So when he said, somebody could take a statement and make it salacious versus somebody could take that same statement and just lay it out as is. And you're like, oh, that's all it is. So that's his thing. He wants to make sure that the clients have a voice and that just one side of them is not being shown based on this snapshot. I mean, it is a pretty big snapshot. When you hear some of the evidence that the prosecution seems to have, allegedly, right? But also at the same time, I get what he's saying. Like this thing right here.
Our first goal is to remove the key pain point of finding great remote and flexible job opportunities.
Doesn't have to define who they are, right? So they deserve a voice to be able to negate whatever's out there. And he, for lack of a better word, is that voice. So then I said to him, I said, why didn't you move the case out of Carroll County? I said, this part was funny, y'all. I said, I loved in their first status hearing, you brought up, but actually it was the second. I said, you brought up that Eddie and Wendy may be denied their constitutional right to a jury of their peers because we're in Carroll County. And so I was trying to figure out, you ever have a word and then you lose the word? I was trying to talk about how many black, white, whoever was in Carroll County. And I was getting ready to say census, but I was like, that's not the right word to read. Then I was getting ready to say statistics. And I was like, that's not the right word. So I said to him, I said, we're in Carroll County. And I started looking, I was like, and you have, and then he was like, you can say it, African-American. He goes, as the father of a biracial child.
Oh, wow.
And I said, okay, I'm gonna say black then. He said, my wife says black and I follow her lead. So his wife is black. I said, oh, okay. So then I said to him, I said, I knew I sent some swag. No, he goes, my wife is black. And I said, oh, okay. He said, and I'm from PG County. I said, I knew I sent some swag. So then here go me. I said, because the times that I've seen him, always been very sharp, very put together. I said, you ever did that TikTok, the glow up when you marry a black wife? Because I can see that she probably glowed him up a little bit, right? So Pam said, hilarious. I don't see him doing TikToks. I don't see you doing TikToks. And he said, I've done a couple with my daughter. I said, okay, so why didn't you move the case? Because let's get back to I need you to answer this question. Why didn't you move the case from Carroll County? There's not a lot of black folks in Carroll County. It may be hard. The jury. And he said, well, I have to be honest with you. My last two, he was successful in getting a diverse jury in his last two cases in Carroll County. He was successful. I believe he was saying he was successful with the case as well, but I know he was very successful in getting a very diverse jury in Carroll County. Again, his last two cases. He said, and then to try to move it to a different county, pretty much it would be a lot of paperwork. He said we'd have to file motions, and he named some other legal terms. It would be a lot of paperwork for him to have to try to do that. And he's confident. I said, you like a challenge? And he just smiled. I said, okay, then. Okay. So that's why they didn't get the movie. He's confident that I guess that they'll be able to provide a good defense in Carroll County. He's not. So yes, he said he put that out there. You know, he said it.
Right.
But he's confident with because of his last two cases in Carroll County, they had a diverse jury. So, and we got to remember, all his defense has to do, all Wendy and Eddie's defense has to do is sow doubt in the minds of the jury. That's one thing that I keep forgetting. It's not a judge, it's a jury. And if he's saying that he was successful in his last two cases of having a diverse jury, then maybe Wendy and Eddie have more of a fighting chance than I thought.
I mean, it seems.
So what I did was I looked up jury of peers because I really wanted to see what that meant, especially when it came to black and brown people, right? So it said legally, a jury of peers does not mean a jury composed of people who share your exact race, background, or social status. Under the U.S. Constitution, it means an impartial group of citizens drawn from a fair cross-section of the local community where the crime was alleged to have taken place. For Black defendants, the reality of this legal principle has historically been complicated. The justice system has faced long-standing challenges in its application and practical outcome.
What else is new?
So there's that. The fair cross-section rule. The Sixth Amendment guarantees that the pool of potential jurors must represent a fair cross-section of the community, free from systemic exclusion based on race. Lawyers from both sides can remove potential jurors using preemptory challenges. However, under the landmark Supreme Court case, Batson versus Kennedy, attorneys are legally prohibited from using these strikes to remove jurors solely based on their race. So when he said a jury of their peers, I did immediately think of black. I mean, come on, let's be clear. You do want some black juror if you are black. Like,
right.
I would. Right? I mean, so
it's to see yourself.
He said, again, he was very successful in.
Marco's only uses premium toppings, which means your pizza isn't just flavorful, it's mushroom-full, or sausage-full, or pepperoni-full. And you can get
I have not had pizza in a while.
unlimited medium one-topping pizzas from the place named America's favorite pizza chain, starting at $8.99 every day, only at Marco's.
Welcome to Marco's.
Having a diverse jury for 2 cases in Carroll County. So maybe they have some type of strategy planned out. So then I said to him, I won't hold you up any longer, because before that he said that he had to get to the jail. He had clients. They waiting on you. I said, thank you so much. I shook his hand again and I said, remember my face if I ever have to come into your office. He said, y'all look like nice people. I doubt that I would have to see you in my office. And I chuckled because I immediately thought of Wendy and Eddie. Do they look like nice people? He's probably not shocked. He's been in this business long enough. He's probably not shocked that this is what's happening. And I said, yeah, I'm not going to need you for that. Yeah. But I just wanted to make sure he remembered who I was. So I appreciated him. Like I said, the conversation, I said 15 minutes, but it probably went on for about 20 minutes. And I appreciated him standing out in that hot sun, being so open and willing. And y'all, he was so interesting. I could have listened to him talk about law because I've always been interested in legal things and law anyway, certain things. So I was almost fascinated at the way he broke it down. And you can see that he has a passion to me for the law. And that is somebody who I'd want representing me. Someone who is passionate and
knows their shit.
You know, listen. Oh, he did say, we talked about client privilege and stuff like that. I forget how that came up, client privilege. And he said to me,
attorney-client privilege, yeah.
With his clients. He said, say he gets somebody in with a DUI. He said he asks them, did you do it? How much did you have to drink? He said, I don't care if they lie to me because I'm gonna see the body cam footage. He says, sometimes they'll say a lot. Sometimes they lie. He said, and I don't call them out on their lies. He said, I just go like this and point to the footage. And he said, because it's gonna come out. It made me wonder, and I wish that I had have asked him. But then again, you have to be careful because I didn't want to interrupt the comfortability that I feel like we established.
Right.
It made me wonder, because again, he said he asks, and he used DUI specifically.
Right.
Did you do it? How much did you have to drink? I don't care if you lie to me though, because it's gonna come out. So I wonder if he asked Eddie and Wendy, did you do it? Because if he asks and they tell him the truth, I feel like that'll help him build a better defense, right? So I do wonder if he asked them, did y'all do it? I don't know, but I appreciate, again, Attorney Eldridge, Jeremy Eldridge, for taking his time to have a conversation. I mean, he did not have to stand out there in that hot sun after being in court. And like I said, he comes across very passionate about the law. That I picked that up. Like you could feel it. And I was like, wow, this is definitely a lawyer that I'd want to be representing me. So that was my conversation with him. Again, he couldn't get into the case specifics. I thought it was funny what he said about the prosecution and not being in to fashion as it relates to her throwing out that statement about her purse and then how much Wendy's would cost. Well, there's no comparison because you're not into that. She is, you know,
Right.
But it was a way to say they have very little money and she's spending this on the purse. That's the whole reason that she did this. And again, I do wonder if that whole time when Wendy and Eddie weren't in the courtroom and weren't with their attorneys, were they filming something on their phone in that conference room or talking to Bravo or what have you? I said, now let's get back to the black SUV. I told y'all they didn't have that SUV last time. I said, they got that SUV this time because, you know, Bravo paid for it and they had GoPros in that SUV. Child, Wendy came stepping, didn't she? She looked good in her yellow.
And by the way, she is right because there was a black SUV outside the jail for when Karen Huger got released. All the cameras were there the day that Karen Huger got out of jail.
Yellow and her expensive bag. Eddie looked good too. They always look good when they come to court. They look runway ready. I said, you know, can you imagine what court is going to be like and the look she's going to turn out then? I don't know if I would necessarily do that with a jury there.
That part. Because see, the way that Megan Thee Stallion did her looks versus the way Wendy's going to do her looks are completely different. Now, Wendy ain't going to come in as a hobo. No disrespect to hobos, homeless people, people who are struggling, trying to get better. No disrespect to y'all. But I get what weigo is saying. If you have 67 credit cards, right, and you tried to go to insurance companies to get back, you know, $450,000 and claim insurance on all your stuff, and you commit insurance fraud, the more you show off, the less the jury is to believe you. Then, not to mention too, you remember there was a ring that was seen in an interview, right? So I get where weigo podcast is coming from.
Because if they already feel a certain, what if you get a juror that already feels a certain type of way about reality stars and maybe they don't feel like they're talented and entitled to be making a lot of money because they're reality stars, and then you come in your Louboutins and your Fox stole because it's going to be cold, and your bag and your shades, that might not play well with some jurors. Yep. So I wonder if they're going to tell Wendy. Eddie always comes in.
I lost $50,000 because I didn't buy a domain name. My advice, head to Wix.
Nice, but not flashy to me. Even when he had, like, when it was winter and he had on like the coat and all that, he comes in very well dressed, presentable, but not flashy. Like I said, Wendy's first hearing, she had the first stole over her shoulder. So I wonder if their attorneys are going to have them tone it down.
I'm sure of it.
Also, what's interesting to me is I told y'all last week, I did a video where I had a source that has been reliable in the past say that Wendy was on the girls' trip, kind of throwing Eddie under the bus. With them now being co-defendants, I do wonder.
Now, I'm wondering, was that the girls' trip from this past season? Because that's the only girls' trip that we know of, unless there's a girls' trip coming up for the new season. So, contest, conjecture, and connection there. But, I mean, Wendy, to be real with you, like, you were there too. You know what I mean? Like, you know.
Oh, if that happened, how that will play out for her. Because you're now his co-defendant. It all seems to me it was a strategy to prolong, to give them more time. Because how do you go from, again, in March, Wendy wanting a trial as soon as the following week, when her original trial date was April and Eddie's was the week after hers? Eddie waives his right, so we know his isn't going to be for a while. But you wanted a trial date the following week. They were literally looking for dates the following week. But the source told me that the attorneys knew that there were no open dates. It was just a tactic or a stunt. to prolong it. And now here we are. They still have another status hearing in January, the week before the trial starts. Or was that? Yeah, a week and some days before the trial starts. So y'all let me know what y'all think about all of that. Just from my seeing, like I said, when I was sitting in that courtroom back in January and hearing the prosecution, it was like, oh, like I heard the defense and I was like, oh, the defense. Yes, he was doing his thing. Then I heard the prosecution and some of their evidence, I guess. And I was like, oh. Then talking to her attorney, I was like, no wonder. In my mind, I felt like no wonder they went. No wonder Wendy went with this attorney. Like, again, Eddie has a different attorney, but I guess they all work under one umbrella. But this attorney, I would be confident. I don't know what they're saying behind closed doors in their meetings, but I tell you one thing. Like I said, me talking to him, I felt like, ooh. And he pretty much, when I said you like a challenge and he kind of smiled, I was like, oh, okay. Because child, this one seems challenging. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, hype the video if you have hypes left. And if you want to, let me know what y'all think in the comments. If you're listening via the podcast app, because I am going to upload this to the podcast app, DM me, tell me your thoughts, tell me what you think, or come on over to the YouTube, WEIGO podcast, or you can click the link in the description of the podcast episode and you can come tell me your comments under the video. Even if you listen to it, on the podcast app, but you want to kind of have some discourse or get in on the discourse, come comment under the video and give the video a like and subscribe. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram, y'all. WEIGO, WEIGO podcast. I want to get to 10K. Follow me over there on Threads as well. Same name, WEIGO podcast, and Twitter. I'll talk to y'all later. See ya. Oh, tomorrow I have a guest. That episode will be out either Saturday or Sunday. And I think I'm going to do a quick video giving very brief Atlanta thoughts and Rory thoughts together, because I wasn't able to do the full recap this week, but me and my guests tomorrow are going to discuss. Talk to y'all later. See ya.
Wonderful job.
The best decision he ever made was using Artlist's AI to cut our video production cost by 85%.
So y'all see a monkey, be on a copying machine. That was unsettling. Very well done to WEIGO podcast. Great insight there. By the way, shout out to Kempire as well. Like, comment, share, subscribe to Kempire as well. Great insight. Like I said, it's going to be interesting. The dates are January 25th through the 29th. And then there will be a SAS hearing the week before the trial. Of course, we'll be here to cover it all because that's what we do. We cover what the culture's talking about, right? I will say this. I think that this case makes Karen Huger's case look like a saint, even though you should never be drinking and driving. Okay, let's all get that straight. But I do believe that Jen Shaw is like, I know y'all are not icing me out. We got these two black people over here doing this. I know Jen Shaw she's trying to be very cutesy, very mindful, very demure, because she put out her there's an interview with People Magazine, People.com that I watched. She did what she did, child. Life goes on. But I know Jen Shaw's watching. I know a lot of people who, Edie is probably watching this case. A lot of people that got kicked out or they got losses with Bravo. I'm sure they're watching this to see how this plays out. Like I said, it's going to be a very interesting season with Potomac, right? You have regular Robin coming back, which nobody asked for her to come back at all. Giselle and Wendy have a decent friendship. Ashley and Wendy, I don't believe they get along at all. Stacy and Wendy, I believe they get along. Tia, I think Tia is minding her own business. And honestly, tell you the truth, all of this is making me want Angel to come back for another season, because if Wendy could go through all that and Phaedra could go through all that she went through, was on Married to Medicine, and could come back on Atlanta, I want to hear it. Angel deserves another season. Fight me. Okay. That being said, I'm going to turn my camera now because we done the whole show for over an hour. Yes, we have. What a show this evening. You guys got not one, but two tours for you all today. You got the tour this morning talking about the Breakfast Club. Streaming live. We're getting ready to stream live on Netflix starting June 1st. Like I said, it is not anything really new, like I said before, because they were on Revolt TV, on television, and multi-platform. Then they were on BET at 9 a.m. Monday through Friday, but I don't believe anybody watched that. And then they have, on-demand content from the Breakfast Club on Tubi, including a free advertised streaming television channel as well. And then, of course, as we all know, Netflix and the video podcast and everything else and all that stuff in between. And then, of course, we talked about K. Michelle. I can only spend about 20 minutes. I'm like, okay, I'm not going to stretch this thing out to 30 minutes. Like, it just is what it is. Like, that's her living life, but and you know what? Let me just say this. This is going to sound really wrong. But could K. Michelle's husband be fucking Tamar Braxton? I'm just saying Tamar is single. So when K. Michelle said you can see other chicks, she didn't say who you could not see. Back off camera. Listen, don't at me. Don't at me. Don't at me. Don't you fucking at me. Listen, you saw the thumbnail. You know my voice, and damn it, you know why you're here. Oh, my Lord Jesus. All right, y'all. We're going to take a little bit of a commercial break. We'll be back with more to chill out, wrap things up here. We are live on tour. Like, comment, share, subscribe. We'll be back right after this. Roll it, everybody.
Lights go low, the city goes high. Stories untold under moonlit skies. Pray lonely, got the vibe, got the flow for the culture. Yeah, you already know. Turn it up, lean back, feel the breeze. Late night truths drifting through the trees. It's for the culture, by the culture. Braylonly's got the soul to show ya. Breaking it down, lifting it higher. Feel the rhythm, spark the fire. Headlines flip with a soulful twist. Behind the scenes where the magic sits. It's the heartbeat of the now and the then, where the story starts and never ends. Tune in, lean and feel the groove. Every moment, a vibe you can't lose. It's for the culture, by the culture. Braylonly's got the soul to show you. Breaking it down, lifting it higher. Feel the rhythm, spark the fire. Hear the whispers in the city's hum. Echoes of stories where we're from. A beat, a step, a voice so clear. The pulse of us, it's all right here. We got soul, we got flavor. Every moment is a savior. Every experience is an overcomer. Turn it up, feel the glow, let the rhythm flow. Spotlight shining, we in the zone. This is the place where the culture's grown. Stories untold, now they're coming alive. Braylonly got the vibe tonight. One thing to know and two things for sure. Higher is waiting and lower is available. But either way, we gotta go on tour. It's Braylon's virtual tour, where the culture makes its move. Feel the love, feel the truth. This is us, this is you. From the unknown, the unembraced and more. This show, this brand, and the possibilities of what can be is all here for you. I'm just a kid from the rock, trying to be a rock for people, trying to make it best they can to become. Being moved is a creator of power to lift up all of us, not just a selective few. For the culture, by the culture, here we be, brazenly bringing life to your screen. Feel the soul, feel the truth, we're free. Trust and believe it's entertainment, news done our way with. Brazenly, spotlight sharp like a diamond shine. We see the stars, but the stories align. Deep in the soul where the heartbeats find. The pulse of the people redefining time. And just a pro tip, people have to earn the right to hear your story, but in addition to that, people have to earn the responsibility to be a part of it. Just because we are not seen by everybody doesn't mean we are not being seen by who needs to see us. Noise equals attention and sound equals purpose. Anybody can be a creator, but it takes a somebody to be an artist.
Beyond this gate, find gardens green and epic worlds to fill your dreams.
There's really no secret about our approach. We keep moving forward.
With the hope that it will be a source of joy and inspiration to all the world. In Disney's 102-year history, there have been many defining moments and countless achievements. Today, we celebrate another thrilling moment, the creation of a spectacular new Disney theme park resort coming to Abu Dhabi.
Abu Dhabi is a place where heritage meets innovation, a place where we preserve our past while designing the future.
Bringing a Disney theme park resort to Yas Island, Abu Dhabi, marks a historic milestone in our journey as a global family destination.
The 7th Disney theme park resort destination represents a new frontier in theme park ambitions. Our resort in Abu Dhabi will be the most advanced and interactive destination in our entire portfolio. The location of our park is incredibly unique. It's anchored by a beautiful waterfront, which will allow us to tell our stories in completely new ways. Ultimately, this project will be a celebration of what's possible when creativity and progress come together.
What we are creating with Disney in Abu Dhabi is a whole new world of imagination and experience that will inspire generations across the region and the world.
This collaboration represents a powerful fusion of Disney's unmatched legacy in storytelling and Mira's commitment to bringing world-class entertainment to our guests.
Abu Dhabi's vision for the future is to create a legacy for generations to come.
Disneyland Abu Dhabi will be authentically Disney and distinctly Emirati. An oasis of extraordinary Disney entertainment at this crossroads of the world. It will bring to life our timeless characters and stories in many new ways, becoming a source of joy and inspiration for the people of this vast region to enjoy for generations to come.
Caesar. Just look at him. Politician. General. Author. Ruler. Man. Legend has it, he's not only stared into the belly of the beast, he's had it for dinner. Here he's free to relax, or party, or relax, or party, or relax, and party. His is a world of opulence, excess, and the occasional impulse buy. Not one to rest on his laurels, he's famous for ushering in a new age of entertainment. So, for anyone seeking a place where the sun never sets on a good time, all this awaits.
I am Caesar, and I approve this palace.
I'm loving it. McDonald's. I'm loving it. McDonald's. I'm loving it.
I love you that much. I had to tell you thrice. Welcome back into Brainlee's Virtual Tour Live. We are live on tour. Glad to have everybody here in the building with me. What a show, what a live stream, and what a tour we had this evening. Talking about Kay Michelle saying that she allows her husband to cheat on her. Good Lord Jesus. And then she's insecure about every room she goes into and needs a Glam Squad for every room she goes into. Good Lord Jesus. And then, of course, we talked about Wendy and Eddie. Their trial dates are, or their trial, the date for their trial is January 25th through the 29th of 2027. Yeah, you heard me correctly. Next year. And yes, next year. So we have that going on as well. We watched a video from weigo podcast. She uploaded it about under an hour ago. When I first saw it uploaded, it was like literally a notification. So I subscribed and was like, okay, we'll add this to the show. Like I said, y'all know how much I love to be able to give you guys the fullest picture of what's going on in the best way that I can. So like I said, shout out to weigo Podcast, Purple Panda Pants, and Paging Dr. Pam. Shout out to those three for sure. So yes, indeed. So yeah, we're just chilling out here for a little bit. I'll probably wrap up the show around maybe 2:10 probably. So we'll see. I'll read y'all the daily motivator, and then we will head on out of here. Yes, indeed. So I had a fun today going live on Thursday. Like I said, normally don't go live on Thursdays because it's my off day, but because Culture was talking about this, I was like, okay, let me add my 2 cents too, because we do cover housewives over here on the channel. But this morning I really just was very pissed off to the highest levels of festivity, because I was just like, I know the Breakfast Club is not repackaging this movie that they've already done and trying to make it a thing when it's not really that big of a thing. But okay, all right, I guess. So. Shout out to the 5 people here. Thank you so much. Thank you to everybody for being here. Thank you to, let me see here. Thank you to Justine Battle. Much love to you. Thank you to Linnell Stiller. Thank you to Stream Master, Coke Presents, Crew Bridge. Thank you for being here as well. I did show your comment for a brief minute, but yes, indeed. So. Like I said to the guy that said I looked a certain way, like, bro, just worry about yourself. Or sis. Or it. Just let's try to be respectful. But anyway. But yes, indeed. So yeah, like I said, we'll wrap it up here at 1 hour and 2 hours, right? 2 hours and 10 minutes, rather, my bad. Like I said, if you guys got any questions for me about anything that we talked about tonight, please let me know. I'll answer them to the best of my ability. Yes, indeed. I swear, sometimes I really don't know how I do this day after day, because it's like so much going on, y'all. Like, even when you try to rest, it's like, okay, child, all right. So. By the way, tomorrow morning, new show for you all at 11 a.m. Don't know what it will be about. It may be a regular show, or it may be a deep dive live like we did this morning. I do love doing those. And then, of course, tomorrow, everybody, by the way, is the 1-year anniversary of something that opened last year. It goes a little something like this. Rolling.
Prepare for a journey beyond imagination, beyond belief, beyond anything you've experienced before. Universal Epic Universe, a new theme park where you'll step through extraordinary portals to 5 immersive worlds. Prepare for a cosmic voyage of discovery, an isle of fire-breathing excitement, A shadowy world of monsters and mystery. New wonders in the wizarding world. And a new way to play. Plus the splendor of a magnificent resort hotel overlooking the park. It's all new excitement at Universal Orlando Resort. A week's worth of vacation thrills with 4 amazing theme parks, a variety of spectacular themed hotels, and incredible dining and entertainment. It's all at Universal Orlando Resort, where you'll find new adventures every day. Explore the astonishing worlds of Universal Epic Universe at Universal Orlando Resort.
So 1 year ago, on May 22nd of 2025, that park opened. And so we are going to have a epic versary celebration on the channel tomorrow night at 6 o'clock. So be here for that. That should be a wonderful time. We're going to talk about all the lands. We're going to talk about epic. We're going to talk, of course, we're going to talk about Epic Universe, but we're going to talk about Celestial Park. Talk about How to Train Your Dragon, Owl Burke. We'll talk about the Wizarding World, Harry Potter, Mystery of Magic. We'll talk about Darkmoor, Dark Universe. And of course, we're going to talk about Super Nintendo World. So we'll talk about all that tomorrow night at 6 o'clock. So that should be a good time. And then, like I said, in the morning, it's either going to be a regular day of the Schmegular show, or it will be a deep dive live like we did this morning. So that's good times ahead. So with that being said, y'all, it is time for the Daily Motivator. Yes, indeed. Let's get that together for you all. GreatDay.com. Here we go. Excuse me. See, let's be on something. Go. Integrity is the essence of everything successful. Buckminster Fuller, very well said there. Right here. Integrity is the essence of everything successful. Buckminster Fuller. There it is. It's time for the Day Motivator for Thursday, May 21st, 2026. Now what? Maybe you need a break. Maybe you need a push. Both can be valuable in their time, in this time for you, honestly, which is it? Every person operates on different cycles with different expectations, ambitions, desires, and requirements. So it's important to evaluate yourself for what you're doing, what you intend, and what you feel and what you care about. Consider which of your options will best serve all of those things going forward, and do so often. What was ideal 3 weeks ago may not be right for next month. What matters most is that you be honest and realistic with yourself. Rationalizations and fantasies will bring you life fulfillment, yet truth will enable you to make real progress. Take a little time to figure it out, then step forward and do what you know is best. By Formosa. You know, it's very interesting because I think I told y'all this on my job on what was it? This day is Thursday. So yesterday, I was at my job and letting it do what it do. Just you know, I'm serious about my business, right? And there's this guy that comes in, and you know, I think he's a representative of one of the products that we sell. Turns out he's the national sales director, right? And so I was talking with them about making it do what it do for our store and everything, and I was talking to him about branding and marketing and all that stuff. And shout out to my mom. My mom has always said, you don't know who is going to come in and could be that connect, right? And so he talked about marketing. He was like, do you have a resume? I'm like, yeah, I do. And and I said, say less, you'll get a resume today. And how does this relate to now what, right? Maybe you need a break, or maybe you need a push. I think that day I got a push I didn't know I needed, right? And sometimes in life, I think the reasons why we are so afraid of a push is because we pray for what we're asking for. But when we're in that circumstance, it's a fight or flight response. Do I really deserve this? Imposter syndrome, this, that, and the third. So what I had to recognize was like, okay, well, first of all, you're not here by accident, Braylon. Number two, you know your shit. And number three, your gift will make room for you and put you before great men. My mom has always said that scripture to me. And I've been saying it a lot more often because I feel that, right? With as much experience as I have, I know my break is coming. Does it feel difficult some days to know that a breakthrough is coming? Oh, absolutely, for sure. You know, I mean, it's easier said than done to believe that something good is going to happen for you when you're not seeing it in the physical realm. But as Steve Harvey has said, as long as you are still waking up every day, God ain't through with you yet. And that may seem very small, but it's more powerful than we give it credit for, right? So that's the first thing I want to say about a push and a break are both powerful, right? Second thing I will say is it's important to evaluate yourself, what you're doing, what you intend, how you feel, and what you care about. You heard, you, right? And I think a lot of times what ends up happening in our walk of life, we will do something for ourselves, right? But as we're doing it for ourselves, we don't recognize the energy that is depleted, right? And it's okay to be doing something for yourself, but then you're like, you know what? This ain't feeling right to me. Don't hold on to something just because you're trying to execute and finish through, right? If you're not feeling that energy, let it go. It's okay. Do you not know that everybody in the world has been a failure in life? Everybody, that includes me. But here's the thing. You will never be successful in life if you don't ever try anything, right? And I think about how we look at failure, right? We look at failure as, oh my God, my life is over. Nobody likes me, da, 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 da. It's like, you do realize that today, you're not the only person that failed. You might feel like you're the only failure in the world, but there's somebody else that has failed at something. And I think it was Albert Einstein that said, I didn't fail at making the light bulb. I just figured out 1,000 different ways to not, I figured out, what did he say? I figured out 1,000 ways not to do that type of light bulb. I'm paraphrasing, but basically, yes. And I really appreciated that quote because I look at my life of, yeah, I've done over 1,000 somethings that I didn't get right, but I learned something out of that, right? Failure does not have to be the end all be all. There is a lesson out of everything. There's a blessing, there's a lesson, there's a reason, there's a season, right? So that's the second thing I want to say to y'all. And then finally, right here, what matters most is that you be honest and realistic with yourself. Rationalizations and fantasies won't bring you life fulfillment, but yet truth will enable you to make real progress. Here's the thing, truth takes time, right? I think when you're trying to figure out the truth of what you're doing in life, it takes time. When you hear people that been in the media industry for like 20 years and they've been acting for 10, but they finally get this breakthrough. One of my good friends, they said to me, rush work is not good work. So when you finally see somebody getting blessed, it's probably because of all the hours of time, energy, and commitment that you did not see, right? So recognize within your truth, as long as that truth is growing, you are advancing. And I'll put it like this, right? Because I want to say this on camera, because I think it's important. Do not let anybody tell you who you are, and don't how can I put it? Don't let anybody define who you are when nobody will go to the dictionary to see if their definition worth mattering to anybody. Do not let anybody define who you are when they would not go to the dictionary to see if they're worth a definition in the dictionary. Do not let anybody define who you are, especially if nobody will go to the dictionary to see if there's a definition in the dictionary. Do you understand me? Because I promise you, it's always the ones that saying who you are, this, that, and third, and nobody ever recognizes them as a fifth quarter or a half of importance. And do you notice the first shall be last and the last shall be first? It always happens. And they get big mad. Well, why are they getting access and why am I getting treated like this? Well, you did what you did. Right now, there's somebody live talking about a particular TV show that somebody said we don't have to ever talk about that show again. And now if I'm supposedly a good friend, why am I talking about something that hurt my friend? But hey, I guess friendship is different in the eye of the beholder. Back to the question at the top of the thing. Now what? Do you need a break or do you need a push? Which one is it? Where's your scooter? Where is it? Where's your scooter? Where is it? Where's your scooter? Where is it? The reason why some people like sitting on a throne of lies, because it will be too hard to get up from the power. The reason why some people sit on a throne of lies is because it's easier. The reason why some people sit on a throne of lies because it's easier to sit in power than to get up and be truthful. The reason why it's easier to sit on a throne of lies is because it's easier to sit in power than get up and be truthful. The reason why it's easier to sit upon a throne of lies, sit upon a throne of lies is because it's easier to sit in power rather than being up and being responsible for what the fuck you do. Don't get mad at me. Don't get mad at me that I took that elf quote and just remixed it for you. Anyway, with that being said, y'all, it's time for the best outro on YouTube. Know what you do and do what you know. Never say you want more special because you are always one of us. And trust you may not be where you want to be, but by the end of it, you'll be where you need to be. Do to be chosen and do wise. One thing to call yourself, it's another to be chosen. One love, much love, all love. I have spent time with you. You spend time with me. Hopefully, I spend time getting around some great together. And I always remember we're doing radio, television, YouTube, living your best life. A child. If you're K. Michelle, you need to follow Wendy's lead and shut the fuck up. Make sure the replay is not just ready for you watch it, not just ready for this too, but for you want to experience it again. I love you. I value you. I embrace you. I'll always remember, see love, you gotta give it, or see love, you gotta give it, or see love, you gotta give it. Whatever obstacles you'll overcome, whatever success you have achieved about this particular day, I'm extremely proud of you, but no one else is probably be proud of you damn self. And finally, y'all, listen, at the beginning, middle, end of the day, your gift is never a waste. Oh, hang on. I'm frozen, y'all. There we go. Your gift is never a waste. Your gift is never a waste. Your gift is never a waste. The only way it will ever be a waste is if you utilize that gift on people, places, and things that take your gift to a present energy. Because anybody can be a present to entertain you, but it takes somebody to be a gift to bless you. And like I've said many times before, some of y'all are missing out on great blessings in life because you keep listening to curses. Some of y'all are missing out on great blessings in life because you keep listening to curses. Some of y'all are missing out on great blessings in life because you keep listening to fucking curses. Why would you listen to a curse to tell you how to receive a blessing? Why would you listen to a curse to hear on how to receive a blessing? Why would you listen to a curse to know how to receive a blessing? Because if you were doing that 10 times out of 10, they're probably a curse to people in their real life, and they're a curse to people virtually. Just because you put lipstick on a pig doesn't mean that pig needs to be slaughtered socially. Oh, you gotta be quicker than that. Gotta be quicker than that. I wonder, is there a pig that got slaughtered socially, being banned off of YouTube and had to pull lawsuits because He, she, it was broke as fuck. I'm trying to think. What was there a person that got slaughtered when they said they would work with somebody before somebody else got 8,000 subscribers? Were there other people slaughtered with their mouth, their tongue, and their throat because they wanted to support somebody, but all they can now do is talk about Krishan Rock, Remy Ma, and Carissa Shields are all richer than that. All of them combined are richer than that fucking person's existence or persons, different people's existences. That when the truth came out, their mouth, their throat, their tongue was so tight like their vagina. Ooh. I guess your mouth, tongue, and throat went through a period, huh? Had to let go of that bullshit tissue, huh? Ooh. Ooh. Somebody gets slaughtered socially for making fun of women and children and people with disabilities and everything else. Did somebody get slaughtered because they called other people intruders when they were the main intruder causing problems? Child, I gotta get out of here. One love, much love, all love. I feel the love and send it right back to you. By the way, y'all, if somebody gets upset because people are giving facts, just know they're a fucking lie. Because guess what? A person who can own their truth don't have to be upset by their truth being called out. Love y'all. Good night. Bye-bye.
I thought I should tell you they've been talking about you. Yeah, they've been talking about you. They've been talking about the fact that they've done everything they could to stop you and everything they could to block you, but you still win. They've been talking about the fact that they have undermined your success and they have tried to sabotage your seasons, but you keep winning. They've been talking about the fact that even though they don't like each other, they get together to try to kill you, but you keep winning. They've been talking about the fact that you were voted least likely to succeed, but like cream, you keep rising to the top. They've been talking about how they tried to burn your world down, but like the phoenix, you rose from the ashes. They've been talking about you. And you know what they say? Oh, she's just lucky. He's just lucky. But no, you ain't lucky. You're anointed. You got something on you. You got favor on you. You got power on you. You were born to win. Now they can call it luck, but it's grace. They can call it luck, but it's favor. But whatever they call it, it doesn't matter, because you know what God calls you? Do you know what God calls you? A winner. I thought I should tell you they've been talking about you. Yeah, they've been talking about you. They've been talking about the fact that they've done everything they could to stop you and everything they could to block you, but you still win. They've been talking about the fact that they have undermined your success and they have tried to sabotage your seasons, but you keep winning. They've been talking about the fact that even though they don't like each other, they get together to try to kill you, but you keep winning. They've been talking about the fact that you were voted least likely to succeed, but like cream, you keep rising to the top. They've been talking about how they tried to burn your world down, but like the phoenix, you rose from the ashes. They've been talking about you. And you know what they say? Oh, she's just lucky. He's just lucky. But no, you ain't lucky. You're anointed. You got something on you. You got favor on you. You got power on you. You were born to win. Now they can call it luck, but it's grace. They can call it luck, but it's favor. But whatever they call it, it doesn't matter, because you know what God calls you? Do you know what God calls you? A winner. I thought I should tell you they've been talking about you. Yeah, they've been talking about you. They've been talking about the fact that they've done everything they could to stop you and everything they could to block you, but you still win. They've been talking about the fact that they have undermined your success and they have tried to sabotage your seasons, but you keep winning. They've been talking about the fact that even though they don't like each other, they get together to try to kill you, but you keep winning. They've been talking about the fact that you were voted least likely to succeed, but like cream, you keep rising to the top. They've been talking about how they tried to burn your world down, but like the phoenix, you rose from the ashes. They've been talking about you. And you know what they say? Oh, she's just lucky. He's just lucky. But no, you ain't lucky. You're anointed. You got something on you. You got favor on you. You got power on you. You were born to win. Now they can call it luck, but it's grace. They can call it luck, but it's favor. But whatever they call it, it doesn't matter, because you know what God calls you? Do you know what God calls you? A winner.
Good evening. My name is Mark Woodbury. I'm the chairman and CEO of Universal Destinations and Experiences. Well, we're finally here. Tomorrow we begin a new chapter at Universal Orlando Resort as we open Epic Universe. We built this place for you. I want to thank you, our fans, for your love of our stories, characters, and immersive experiences that inspired this incredible place. Epic Universe represents over 8 years of meticulous planning, immense creativity, and innovation, combined with unmatched craftsmanship and operational excellence on the part of thousands of people who have brought to life the stories and characters that live beyond each of Epic's portals. But it represents so much more. Your love of Universal and the deep connections we've shared together here in Orlando over the past 30 years inspired us to dream bigger and to push the boundaries to create something extraordinary for you and for generations of fans and families to come. And tomorrow, as we open Epic Universe, I can't wait for you to experience this place for yourself. Now it's your turn to step inside, to lose yourself, and to share this place with the ones you love most. As we open this park, we hope your world becomes a little more epic. Tomorrow, Epic Universe becomes yours.
Are video games getting too expensive? This episode, we want to find some common ground because the CEOs want to raise the price even more.
Not with these broken ass games.
$5 million. That's how much San Andreas costs to make. Is it their fault for selling or our fault for buying?
Corporations claim all this stuff. Devs say otherwise.
Sports gamers, cozy gamers, whatever you call the people who play Power Wash Simulator.
I think it stings a little bit more because I'm spending my actual money and my mom is not. Imagine they get rid of all movie theaters and then charge you the same price to watch the same movie at home.
That's like every streaming service. It doesn't have to be the longest of games, but am I having fun with it? This is Lex. I'm Ronell. Let's get right into it.
Prepare for a journey beyond imagination, beyond belief, beyond anything you've experienced before. Universal Epic Universe, a new theme park where you'll step through extraordinary portals to 5 immersive worlds. Prepare for a cosmic voyage of discovery, an isle of fire-breathing excitement, a shadowy world of monsters and mystery, new wonders in the wizarding world, and a new way to play. plus the splendor of a magnificent resort hotel overlooking the park. It's all new excitement at Universal Orlando Resort. A week's worth of vacation thrills with 4 amazing theme parks, a variety of spectacular themed hotels, and incredible dining and entertainment. It's all at Universal Orlando Resort, where you'll find new adventures every day. Explore the astonishing worlds of Universal Epic Universe at Universal Orlando Resort.
Because here's the thing, a good streamer can find other content. Because here's the thing, a good streamer can find other content. Because here's the thing, a good streamer can find other content. Because here's the thing, a good streamer can find other content. Because here's the thing, a good streamer can find other content. Because here's the thing, a good streamer can find other content.
I've been moving on my own accord, covering Black culture. There is more to life. I heard that, friend. Braylon, shout out to Braylon. Make sure y'all go follow Braylon in case y'all haven't. I love your content. I have been moving on my own accord, covering Black culture. There is more to life. I heard that, friend. Braylon, shout out to Braylon. Make sure y'all go follow Braylon in case y'all haven't. I love your content. I have been moving on my own accord, covering Black culture. There is more to life. I heard that, friend. Braylon, shout out to Braylon. Make sure y'all go follow Braylon in case y'all haven't. I love your content. Child, Braylon been over there doing his thing, minding his GD business, staying out of trouble, trying to get the folks some positive stuff to talk about. Besides lying all the damn time. Child, Braylon been over there doing his thing, minding his GD business, staying out of trouble, trying to get the folks some positive stuff to talk about. Besides lying all the damn time. Child, Braylon been over there doing his thing, minding his GD business, staying out of trouble, trying to get the folks some positive stuff to talk about. Besides lying all the damn time. Child, Braylon been over there doing his thing, minding his GD business, staying out of trouble, trying to get the folks some positive stuff to talk about. Besides lying all the damn time. Child, Braylon been over there doing his thing, minding his GD business, staying out of trouble, trying to get the folks some positive stuff to talk about. Besides lying all the damn time. Child, Braylon been over there doing his thing, minding his GD business, staying out of trouble, trying to get the folks some positive stuff to talk about. Besides lying all the damn time. Child, Braylon been over there doing his thing, minding his GD business, staying out of trouble, trying to get the folks some positive stuff to talk about. Besides lying all the damn time. Child, Braylon been over there doing his thing, minding his GD business, staying out of trouble, trying to get the folks some positive stuff to talk about. Besides lying all the damn time. Child, Braylon been over there doing his thing, minding his GD business, staying out of trouble, trying to get the folks some positive stuff to talk about. Besides lying all the damn time. Child, Braylon been over there doing his thing, minding his GD business, staying out of trouble, trying to get the folks some positive stuff to talk about. Besides lying all the damn time. Child, Braylon been over there doing his thing, minding his GD business, staying out of trouble, trying to get the folks some positive stuff to talk about. Besides lying all the damn time. Child, Braylon been over there doing his thing, minding his GD business, staying out of trouble, trying to get the folks some positive stuff to talk about. Besides lying all the damn time. Child, Braylon been over there doing his thing, minding his GD business, staying out of trouble, trying to get the folks some positive stuff to talk about. Besides lying all the damn time. Child, Braylon been over there doing his thing, minding his GD business, staying out of trouble, trying to get the folks some positive stuff to talk about. Besides lying all the damn time. Child, Braylon been over there doing his thing, minding his GD business, staying out of trouble, trying to get the folks some positive stuff to talk about. Besides lying all the damn time. Child, Braylon been over there doing his thing, minding his GD business, staying out of trouble, trying to get the folks some positive stuff to talk Brandon over there doing his thing, minding his GD business, staying out of trouble, trying to get the folks some positive stuff to talk about. Besides lying all the damn time. Child, Brandon been over there doing his thing, minding his GD business, staying out of trouble, trying to get the folks some positive stuff to talk about. Besides lying all the damn time. Child, Brandon been over there doing his thing, minding his GD business, staying out of trouble, trying to get the folks some positive stuff to talk about. Besides lying all the damn